This tool is absolutely essential when it comes to training, racing, and life overall, and specifically for me, like business and stuff like that. It's been absolutely a game changer. And no, I'm not talking about journaling, even though journaling is actually really, really helpful and really good. I'm talking about something else. If you don't know me, I'm Logan Lesser, a national motocross racer, having won over 15 state championships and an amateur national championship. I'm an extreme sports athlete and ran a marketing agency for over 4 years, growing it to $30,000 a month. And while doing so, was able to travel the world living in Cape Town, South Africa, part-time throughout the past few years. And I've spent nearly $50,000 on mentors, coaches, courses, and education, learning from the best of the best in business, fitness, mindset, racing, and so on. Now I'm sharing what I've learned and growing my community, the Champion Protocol, linked in the description below. All right, now before I jump into it, well, first off, if you want to join my online community and check out any of my fitness programs and other products for motocrossers, link to that is in the description below. But with that being said, before I jump into what it is and everything that I'm referring to that is so helpful, when I first say it, you're going to be like, oh, well, that's boring. But I'm telling you, if you really want to excel and absolutely kick ass, and more importantly, if you want to beat everybody else around you and stop, if you're racing and if you're a racer and stuff, you want to stop competing with the same group of people at every freaking race, no matter how hard you work. I know how that is, like where you're just working your ass off, but every race you're still competing with the same group of guys and you just can't seem to reach that next level. So if you want that, sometimes it does take the boring work and the boring stuff that you have to learn in order to actually do it. And I can say that from experience. So what it is that I'm talking about is scheduling everything and actually creating a schedule. And you can use this for training, racing, life, business, all of that. And that's one thing. It's one thing that I've learned big time when it comes to business, because I've gone to numerous business conferences and learned from some of the best when it comes to just business and all this type of stuff, as you probably saw in the intro for the video and everything. And one thing I learned from them is how important it is to have a schedule or routine. And I used to hate routines, honestly. Like, I used to hate the idea of doing the same thing every day. And I was like, I'm going to get so bored doing that. Like, that's going to be really, really annoying to just keep doing the same thing every day. But what's interesting is that my most productive times and the times where I've seen the most growth in whatever area that I was focused on during that period, it was because I was sticking to the same routine and I was sticking to a schedule every single time or every single day. And like with business, for example, I would basically, like right now, I'll tell you right now what I do is every night, like it's literally in my calendar, like scheduled before I'm able to go chill, eat dinner, all that type of stuff, is I have to plan for tomorrow. And what I do is I use Google Calendar, which, by the way, if you're like a racer and stuff, you don't need to like use Google Calendar and stuff. You can literally just grab a notebook. Like, honestly, I'd recommend a notebook. Or what my little brother Colby does is he has an actual whiteboard that's hanging in the trailer. So he like writes down on the whiteboard his schedule and kind of his routine and what he's going to do for the day. So you can do that too. But to be honest, I really like having like a cool notebook like this. But regardless, every day I basically go into my Google Calendar and then I plan tomorrow basically in there, and I do time blocks. Like, I just plan it by hour. Like, I'm going to wake up at this time, and from 6 o'clock to 7:30, literally my schedule is I wake up at 6, from 6 to 7:30 I'm working, and then at 7:30 to 8 I do like my morning routine, such as brushing my teeth, washing my face, all that stuff, and then I go make my coffee. I have my protein shake, and then I come back down, and then from like 8 o'clock until around 11, so for like the next 3 hours I do another work block, and then after that I'll have breakfast. I like to fast and stuff like that, mainly because I have a lot more mental clarity in the morning is when I have the most mental clarity and everything. And then I don't want to like spend the time to eat and everything. And plus, after you eat, your body has to digest it. So it takes a lot of energy for it to do that. So that obviously drains your energy a little bit. So I don't want that. I want to be like super productive in the morning. But regardless, like I do that for the whole day, is I just plan it like just like that. Just saying what I'm going to be doing at every time throughout the day, all the way from when I wake up to when I go to bed. And I do that the day before so that when I wake up at 6, there's no question of what I need to do. I already know it's in my schedule. And then the other thing I do is I've got this notebook where I actually plan everything that I need to do. So like, I don't know if you can see that, but like that is my schedule for today. And basically I've got this system of how I actually like check stuff off and everything. This is more for like business and stuff. So I could dig into that in the future. Like if you want me to dig into exactly how I kind of structure that, then leave a comment below and I can dig into it. But the important thing is just to have a schedule and know what you need to do. And that's how I do it for business and stuff. And it just makes it very, very easy. Like technically this isn't a schedule. This is a to-do list, what I've gotten here. And my calendar is my schedule. So my calendar is basically how I know what I'm doing at what time. So I know like, okay, from during this period or this time block I'm working. Like literally right now in my calendar, I planned it yesterday and I literally planned for right now I would be recording content. So that's what I'm doing. So basically that's what my calendar's for. And then say that I'm like in a work block or whatever, then I go to this and I open it up and I have it in order as you saw before of like a now, basically now, next, and later. And I basically start with the now tasks and I get those done. So it's in order of priority and everything so that I know like I'm getting done what needs to be done in the correct priority, you know, like getting the important stuff done first, basically. So that's kind of how I do it. But if I'm at the track or whatever, like for training and everything, then I'm talking about like for a training day, for example, I'll actually use yesterday as a prime example because I scheduled my day on, because yesterday was Wednesday and I went and rode at Thunder Valley. And on Tuesday night, I basically scheduled out my day yesterday. And basically what my schedule looked like is I woke up at 6. I always wake up at 6. I woke up at 6 and then I had my work block from 6 to 7:30. So I hammered out as much work as I possibly could. I was actually extremely productive because I knew I'd be riding all day and I knew I'd be pretty freaking exhausted after riding. So I probably wouldn't get a whole lot done afterwards. So I knew I needed to like push and get a lot done first thing in the morning. So I was pretty productive. So 6 to 7:30 working, 7:30 to 8 o'clock or 7:30 to like 7:45. I did my morning routine. Like I brushed my teeth, washed my face, did all that. And then straight after that, I went into the gym and I rode like I was on the rower for 15 minutes. So I did a nice light zone 2 cardio warm up prior to riding. And then after doing that, I jumped right into foundation training, which I've mentioned it briefly in other videos, but if you don't know what that is, just search up foundation training on YouTube. And then you'll see like a 12-minute video from like 11 years ago or whatever. There's 3 guys in it, and the main guy is Dr. Eric Goodman. The guy on the left in the video, like when you're watching it on the left, that's Peter Park, and he is the trainer for Chase Sexton, Ken Roxon, and a lot of really, really, really top guys. So foundation training is insane. So basically I did that. And then as soon as I finished that, I went into, I think it was like 8:15 or something. And I had this all scheduled on my calendar. At 8:15 to like 9 or something, I had breakfast. And then basically after breakfast, I needed to get my bike ready to go and all of that from like 9 to 9:30. And then from 9:30, in my calendar, I blocked from 9:30 to like 3 in the afternoon was riding because I was going to drive to the track, ride, do all that. And then I just had the rest of the day scheduled out. So regardless, like my whole day was scheduled perfectly. And the importance of this, and one of the biggest things that I've noticed in terms of having a schedule versus not having a schedule, is that you know the things that you need to get done. Like, you know, you need to warm up before riding, or like I know I need to warm up before riding. I know I need to do my foundation training before riding. I also know that I want to get some work done before riding. So, because I'm going to be a lot more productive in the morning before riding than I am after, because afterwards I'm going to be exhausted and stuff. So my mind is not going to be at its like peak performance level, I guess you could say. So there's all this stuff that I know I need to get done, but if I don't schedule it and I don't have a schedule to follow, I'm kind of leaving it up to chance of whether or not I'm actually going to get that stuff done. Because then I'm going to wake up and I'm going to kind of use brain power and time to think, what should I do now? Like, should I row right now, or should I get some work done? And not really sure. And then 15, 30 minutes goes by and then it's like, oh shit, I'm running out of time. I guess we should probably go row. And then I only row for 10 minutes. And it's like, oh shit, it's already 9 o'clock. I don't think I have time for foundation training. I still need to eat breakfast and blah, 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 blah. And basically you just don't end up doing everything. Whereas if you have a schedule, then you can just follow it and just check stuff off and make sure that you do everything that needs to be done. And then also having a to-do list like this makes it really easy, because when I have my schedule, at least for business and stuff, like I know during this time block, I'm at my desk working. And then if I have the question of like, well, what is it I'm working on? Then I turn to this guy and I'm like, okay, well, here's the order in terms of like highest priority to lowest priority. Here's the order I need to get stuff done in. Just check that stuff off. So it makes it super, super easy. So that was my that was my schedule literally yesterday. And then if I was like in the midst of racing season or like preseason training or whatever, I would have also had it scheduled so that I had like a gym workout or a zone 2 cardio workout after riding. So basically have it all scheduled out and everything. So that's training. Now, another really, really important thing when it comes to having a schedule and stuff and routine is being able to, because a big problem I used to have, and I know a lot of racers have, is being able to perform at races the way you do in training or even better than training. Because a lot of times there's that issue where you kick ass in training or practice, but then you can't show up at the race. And usually it's mental. So 99% of the time it's mental. Well, if you have a schedule or a routine that you follow every time you're training or on a ride day, then you simply copy that schedule as much as you can over to race day. Because the more that you can make race day basically the same as training or practice, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to show up mentally, because it's the same stuff. Like one of the biggest problems that I used to do and that I see a lot of other riders do, and something I've learned from many coaches, is that you'll have this like schedule and routine that you do every single time you train or practice or whatever. But as soon as you get to the race, it's almost kind of like you just chill out and you're like, all right, we've trained and prepared for this and now we're here. So let's kind of chill and we'll have our race and do that. And then you can't show up mentally. Like you go up to the gate and you're all nervous and anxious and all this stuff. And you were sitting on the couch 15 minutes before that, kind of just chilling, watching Netflix or something, like who knows, or you were just fucking around with friends. Whereas when you're training and in practice, you have like a schedule and a routine that you're following. So you want to try and copy that over to the race as much as possible. Like if you do this particular warm up before riding every time you train and stuff, do the same damn warm up before your race. And if you eat this particular meal before you train on a training day, eat the same meal before a race. Like do the same shit that you know works in training and practice, copy that over to race day. And obviously race day can be a little tricky because you don't, unless you're at Loretta's or something, you don't really know exactly when you're going to race and stuff, but at least have it to where you schedule it out where you know like, okay, once I know my moto and when I have an idea of like when it's going to be, or when I know I'm say like an hour out from my moto, I know that when I'm an hour away from riding, I usually do like this warm up, or I eat this meal, or I do whatever, and then you can just do that on race day and implement the same routine and implement the same schedule. So it just allows you to really show up a lot easier. And I know my brother Colby, like this week is literally Loretta Lynn's, and he's been doing pretty well. So far he's gotten a second, a fourth, and a 10th. This last moto that he had literally earlier today, I think he just got off to a really bad start. Like he was almost dead last. So he did make his way through the pack pretty well and got up to 10th. But definitely not the result that I know he was looking for. So definitely a little bum for him. But I mean, second, fourth, 10th, not too bad at Loretta's. But regardless, what he did is he scheduled out his entire week. And what's nice about Loretta's is when you're going to race. Like the exact time on every day that you're going to race. And I mean, they are like on point with the time and everything, which is really good. So before he even got to Loretta's, he already put together an entire schedule of what he was going to do every day, and he had it scheduled out so that like if he knew he had a moto at say 1:30 in the afternoon, he knew that at this time, like an hour and a half before, however he set it up, he's like, I'm going to do my warm up, I'm going to make sure I get up at this time in the morning, I'm going to do my foundation training, I'm going to do my warm up, I'm going to eat this. Like basically he followed the same schedule. And that's actually another important point that I almost didn't mention is sleep. Honestly, if you can, follow the same sleep schedule every single day. It is really important. There's a lot of science behind it, like your circadian rhythm and everything. You want to get that. I don't really know how to phrase that correctly. It's like you want to get your circadian rhythm set up, and basically you want to stay consistent so that you don't throw it off. You don't throw off your circadian rhythm. And basically what it allows you to do is get the best sleep possible. And the best way to do that is for you to go to bed at the exact same time every night, but more importantly, get up at the same time every single day. Like if you have to, obviously, like if the time that you go to bed kind of varies sometimes, not the end of the world, but try to stick with the same wake up time. Like honestly, if it was me, like right now I get up at 6 every single day. So whether I'm training or at a race, I'm getting up at 6, like period, because that's my routine. That's what I'm going to do. Like I'm not going to show up to race day and then I don't have a race till say 1 in the afternoon at Loretta's. So then I decide to sleep in until 9. Like, no, I'm going to get up at 6. I'm going to follow my same routine that I always do. And I'm going to go through everything that I always do because that's what works for me. And it keeps everything in check, even like internally in terms of your brain and how you're sleeping, your circadian rhythm, all that stuff. Like, you want to keep that stuff consistent and you want to keep that stuff working in your advantage, or to your advantage. So that's an important point is with your schedule, try and have the same bedtime and wake up time all the time, like weekends, everything. That was a big challenge for me, actually, is like during the week, I would be pretty disciplined in terms of like go to bed at this time, wake up at this time, which for me is go to bed at 9:30, be in bed by 10, and then wake up at 6. So I get my 8 hours. And then on the weekends, I would kind of let myself sleep in or whatever. But the problem with that is it actually throws off your circadian rhythm and everything. So you don't want to do that. You want to stick to the same exact schedule every single day in terms of your sleep. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. But overall, the biggest thing is just like always have a schedule, try and get into the routine of that. And literally all you got to do is really have a notebook and just write down like a list. Like honestly, just put the date and then on every line, just write like, okay, 6 a.m. wake up, 6:30 do this, 7 o'clock do this, 10 o'clock do this, like whatever it is, and just plan it out and follow it every single day. And then also like you can implement a to-do list as well so that you make sure you do everything. Like if you're at a training facility or if you're just on a training day, then have a to-do list of like, okay, I need to do my warm-up, check. I need to do my foundation training, check. I need to stretch, check. I need to obviously ride. And then you can even break down your riding into a to-do list, such as like, I need to do my 8-minute warm-up. I need to do 4-lap sprints. I need to do 2 20-minute motos. And then I need to do one more round of 4-lap sprints or whatever. That's just like a random schedule for a training day. And then you can just check those off as you go. And then also I need to wash my bike. I need to do my bike maintenance. I need to stretch. I said stretch earlier, but stretching might be good for even after. I need to roll on the foam roller. And then I need to do my cardio session or my gym session. Like just plan it all out in a to-do list so that you make sure that you do everything and you can keep track of it and stuff. So it really is a game changer. And I know that from experience with business, and I also know that from experience with racing, and not only for myself, but also for Colby, because he's been doing that for a long time now, and he's literally doing it at Loretta's. And I mean, he got second in his first moto, so seems to be working. So yeah, but anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Like I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to check out my community or fitness program or any of the other stuff I got, link to that stuff is in the description below. Feel free to check it out. If you want more videos like this, subscribe, and also comment below whatever like other videos you want. I'm always open to other ideas than what I come up with here. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.